Cyber Castle Digital Dracula is a tabletop RPG by Lucas Valenza where you play as hunters who traverse multiple floors of a digital castle that are filled with Dracula's traps and monsters. The hunters are experts at navigating through the cyber, this realm where the digital and physical collide. But during your time in the cyber, you've been cursed by the most menacing of data monsters, Digital Dracula themselves. In order to break the curse, you have to storm the stronghold, fighting through various levels until you reach the top, where you face down with Digital Dracula. To play this game, you need either 4 fate dice or 4 six-sided dice. You also need 3 to 7 players, one of whom will play the titular Digital Dracula. Creating a hunter is pretty easy. You can put points into 3 different skills: strength, subterfuge, and cyber. Next, you define your aspects, which are overall pretty flexible. These can give you bonuses later in the game, but can also be used against you. The hunters decide their intros, troubles, and relationships, and Digital Dracula comes up with the curse they put onto the hunters. Each hunter also starts with 2 stunts that you can choose from the hunter shop. You can purchase additional stunts later, depending on how many monsters you've taken down. Now, if you're playing Digital Dracula, your job is to fill the castle with monsters and traps using your castle points. You spend points in the Dracula shop for things to throw at the hunters. There are multiple pages of monsters that you can choose from. There are also different moves you can buy for Digital Dracula to interfere. There are 4 different actions you can take as a hunter. You can overcome, you can create an advantage, you can attack, and you can defend. When you take an action, you roll your dice and add a modifier depending on the skill you're using. You might also have aspects and stunts that could influence your roll. Depending on the action you take, there are different possible results for your roll. Each of these are detailed in the game. Climbing through Cyber Castle is dangerous work, not for the weak of heart. As hunters take harm, they'll gather stress, which can eventually result in an injury. If you get an injury, you can do one of 2 things. You can lower one of your skills, or you can perform a splice, where you take a limb from a cyber monster and attach it to yourself. When you splice, you get the skill from that monster, but if you splice yourself too many times, Digital Dracula can hack into you and make you one of their minions. If you want to hear more about the game, the podcast Unplaytested did an episode where they brainstormed the game's design with Lucas Valenza. And if you want to see an example of the game in action, Unplaytested has an actual play you can watch. Cyber Castle Digital Dracula is a ridiculous game, and I love the idea of playing as Dracula and just going full ham. You can check it out for yourself at vforvalenza.itch.io.